Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of All Things Life in Sports with Kyilan Thomas. It's me. I'm Kyilan. Um, like I said, this will be the first episode. I want to do this podcast because I feel like I have so much to say. In this past year, 2022, I've been through, so much, and I didn't really have an outlet. I didn't really have anywhere. I felt like I didn't have anywhere to vent, to talk about certain things, because you don't want to talk about everything with your parents, and so, and I'm not really a big person. I don't really have friends like that, so that could be a plus and it can be a minus. But yeah, so I feel like I didn't have nobody to vent to talk to, so I had started therapy, and it felt good to just be able to talk about things and get it off your chest. And then my parent, family recommended. It was like, maybe you should try the podcast thing, because I really do have so much to say, and I feel like with me being only 22, I feel like I have so much wisdom and insight on a lot of things. And so with that being said, the name of my podcast is All Things Life in Sports with Kyilan Thomas. Okay, so as y'all can see, first things first, we're gonna get it all out the window. First thing, I am a huge Gator fan. I am a huge Jaguar fan. So when it comes to the sports topics, most of what I will be talking about sport wise will probably be related to the Jaguars and the Gators. I do love to watch the NBA as well. My favorite team was the Lakers when Kobe was there. I was more so a Kobe fan rather than a Laker fan. So when he retired, I more so have favorite players now, like Giannis, Kyrie, KD. Those are my favorite players. All three of them are kind of in the same conference. So when it comes to them too, like when was this? Like 2 years ago when they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, that was kind of hard for me because I was a Kyrie fan before I was a Giannis fan, but I love Giannis, so it was kind of hard on who I would root for. But here's the deal. Since it's all things life in sports, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into the sports first because I got to talk about my Jaguars. Boy, let me tell you. But first, how do we play how we play against the Lions? How do we lose to the Broncos? How do we lose to the Texans? We're literally the Texans' only win. How do we play how we played against those teams and lose against those teams? And then we play how we play against the Ravens. We dismantled the Titans. We haven't won in the Titans since, what is it, 2013? So how do we play how we played for those two games, but then lose those games? That's why I'm happy, but I'm mad at the same time, because if we win Texans, Broncos, we really would be playoff contention. Like right now, we still kind of in it. Because the way the Titans are looking, it looks like we might. The way we look and the way the Titans have kind of just gone like this, and we kind of boom, boom, boom. So the way it's looking, look like we still could be in playoff contention, and it's the fact that the last time it was like this, happy like this, in Jacksonville Jaguar fan base atmosphere in Jacksonville was 2017. So let me just give y'all the numbers. Let me tell y'all these numbers, and for all y'all hating on Trevor, I'm gonna be honest. I never said he was a bust, but I did say I don't see generational. But this is what he was throwing interceptions in the red zone. He wasn't looking how he was looking now. Now I'm not saying that. But back then I was saying that. I wasn't calling him no bust. So for those of y'all that's like, oh, for a lot of y'all called him a bust. Don't delete your tweets. That wasn't me. But I was criticizing him. A lot of y'all didn't want to criticize him at all. That was not me. I'm gonna say what I see. Just like I'm gonna say he's doing great right now. But let me just get y'all the numbers. Trevor was 30 or 42, and that's not, we threw the ball, bro. Like, when is the last time the Jaguars have been able to throw the ball efficiently, consistently? For a quarterback, our quarterback threw the ball 42 times completed 30 of them, 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, a rating of 121.9, and a QBR of 82.1. When's the last time a quarterback has been able to do that in Jacksonville? Even in 2017, Blake Bortles was not going 30 for 40. Bruh, do y'all remember the playoff game against the Bills? I give him credit, but we literally won that game off of his legs. So, bruh, imagine Trevor Lawrence gets a defense like we had in 2017. Boy. But anyway, Trevor, 30-42, 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, QBR of 82, and a quarterback rating of 121.9. We're just gonna say 122. Okay. Now this the rushing. Now, I heard a caller say on Jaguars Radio 1010 SL, fifth quarter with Hacker and Leon and Dave, Coach Dave Campbell. I heard a caller say he's tired of people saying we need to run the ball. I kind of agree with that sentiment, because when you have and this isn't the first time Trevor has done this, when you have a quarterback that can go 30 or 42 and throw for 368, Trevor's at the point now when we don't have to be, we need to run the ball. That doesn't have to be. Now we see that if in the game, if the run game isn't there, he can throw the ball accurately, precisely, efficiently. He can do those things. So our mindset shouldn't always be, let's just run it. Because let me tell you, Etienne, 17 carries, 32 yards, 1.9 yards per carry. That's not good. Honestly, he got hurt, but he hasn't been. I remember we were all Etienne, and he kind of just Jermichael Hasty, 4 carries, 13 yards. Agnew, he had the sweep, 1 carry, 8 yards. And then there's Trevor, 3 carries for 7 yards. So altogether, the team rushed 25 times for 60 yards. So that's not gonna cut it. Like, if our focus was the run game and that's all we had, we would have got our ass whooped. So I feel like we shouldn't just be dependent upon the run game. I do think we should open it up a lot more for Trevor, which I think we've done that, because he's shown this isn't just the first game he's done that. So with that being said, I want to get into the standings, the playoff scenario, because like I said, 2017 the last time we really did this. So Jacksonville, we are currently in the 10th spot. We are in the hunt. When they show the graphics, there's the Jaguars. You got the picture, and at the bottom is the logo of the Jacksonville Jaguars. That just makes me ecstatic. Anyway, so Jacksonville currently in the 10th spot, 5-8. Okay, we are 2-2 in our division. So Jacksonville is 5-8. Tennessee is 7-6. Okay, Jaguars 5-8 remaining schedule. Got the Cowboys. So say we lose to the Cowboys, right? That's 5-9. But the Titans also have the Chargers next. I think the Chargers will win that. So the Titans will be 7-7. We'll be 5-9. So it's still a 2-game ahead. Next, after that, the Titans will have the Texans. I think the Titans win that. So they will be 8-7 at that point, because they will have lost to the Chargers and they will have won against the Texans. So at that point, it'll be 8-7. Even if we lose the Dallas game, we'll be 5-9, but I think we'll beat the Jets. So that's 6-8, and the Titans will be 8-7. So then it gets down to we play the Texans. I think we beat the Texans. So what is that? We'll be 7-8. And then the Titans, after their Texans game, they have the Cowboys. I think they will lose to the Cowboys. So they will become 7-8. We would be 7-8. With that being said, then it's down to Titans, Jaguars for the last game of the season in Jacksonville, and then we win that, we will win the division. With that being said, I think the Jaguars will beat the Cowboys, we'll beat the Jets, we'll beat the Texans, and we'll beat the Titans. I think we're going to win out. I predicted that after they came from the bye. I said we win out. We have won out. We lost the one, but I feel like we'll win out. If we lose one, I think the Cowboy win would be the one we lost. But either way it goes, we can afford to take one loss because we'll see the Titans again. Whereas the Titans, I'm looking at their remaining schedule and the way they've played these last couple weeks, and yeah, no, like I don't think they beat the Chargers. I don't think they beat the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, that's their second to last game of the season. They're probably going to be with Philly vying for a spot. So I think the Cowboys going to show up for their A game. So I think the Chargers lose 2, we lose 1, and it comes down to that last game of the season. So with that being said, I just want to say I am proud of my Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, let's get into the life portion of this podcast. Like I said, after so many things that I've been through this last year of my life, which kind of made me want to do the podcast, I just want to say, like, when you on God purpose, when you on God's time, and when I tell you God time have you doubting within yourself. Because you just see, like, for me personally, like, this is my podcast. I'm talking about me. You see this person doing this, that person doing that, especially if they're in the same field doing the same thing that you're doing, it kind of makes you question, like, what am I doing wrong? Or why was my path this way and theirs seemed easier? Or, all I will say about that is when you carving a new path, when you the first person that got to do something, it's going to be harder for you. And I say that because I'm going to use soccer. Because that's what I do. I play soccer and want to go play professionally. And that's a big part about myself that I left out in the beginning, but y'all know now. I want to be a professional soccer player. So I'm going to use me for example. I grew up in Americus, Georgia, okay? Small town in Georgia. And me saying that, a lot of y'all probably had never heard of it. But with that being said, there's no club soccer here. And when in high school, when I realized that club is what I wanted to do, when I realized club soccer is what I wanted to do, when I realized professional soccer is what I wanted to do, I saw a lot of the colleges at the time were asking, where's your club, where's your club affiliation? So then it made me say, oh snap, I need to figure out what is this club soccer thing, I need to do that. So after a game down here in America, our team was horrible. It was one of those, I'm pretty much having to make at least 10, 15 saves a game. So the coach of the other team comes up to me, he's like, we shot the ball this amount of times and you saved such and such. He asked me, he was like, do you play club soccer? I was like, nah, I kind of only heard of it in passing because I want to play college. But nah, he was basically telling me, like, hey, you need to come down here and do the club team down here. But at the time, my mom, I had younger siblings that were still, like, young, like 3, 4. So, we weren't able to do that drive to another city just for me to play club. And then club soccer is high. It's expensive. Like, I'm finna pull up the average cost of how much it is to play club soccer in the United States. And speaking of soccer, because this is sports, we're going to get into the World Cup. And that's the issue between these other countries and the USA with this club soccer stuff. But so I wasn't able to play club. So there's my journey. I don't really have that club experience at the time. At the age that I did not have the club experience that a lot of other girls would have at that point. They would have been years in the system, whereas I'm just playing in high school. All I know is see ball, get ball, stop ball. I play goalkeeper. So, with that being said, according to mastersoccermind.com, the average cost to play club, on average, someone can be paying between $2,000 to $5,000 a year in membership fees for one player. Those fees normally include uniforms, insurance, referees and coaching salaries, player development, etc. And then you have the registration fees that it said that might be anywhere between $100 and $500. Plus, this the kicker. Which when I did eventually move to Jacksonville with my dad to get that club experience, we find out, oh, we got a showcase somewhere else in Florida. Oh, you got to pay for gas, you got to pay for hotel, you got to pay for. So on top of paying all that, your family would have to cover the travel costs and equipment to play the game. So obviously you got to get your own cleats. Such and such. With me being a goalkeeper, I had to have gloves and I had to pay extra on the uniform because I had to have the goalie. Jacksonville Armada, they wanted you to have the field stuff and goalkeeper stuff, which I don't understand. But that's another thing I've dealt with my whole career. People always saying, maybe you should, have you tried the field? Because they see that I'm an athlete, I'm fast. They try to, no, I play goalkeeper. But anyway. So that's the average cost to play club. How many families out there do you think just have almost $6,000 just lying around to put your child in a sport? Where basketball and football, even if you play because we can look it up, even if you play AAU, I don't think you paying $2,000 to $6,000 for your child to play AAU, because I'm finna look that up right now. $4,000. So average cost of AAU $4,000. Soccer, what it was, two to six, 2 to 5, plus extra stuff, so about 2 to 5,500, 2 to 6. Average cost of AAU $4,000. Some depending on the team, families can expect to pay $400 to $4,000. So football, I don't really see people coming across that in football, but I had a coach tell me when I was going through the college visit circuit that the reason why they just look at club players is because it's easier. And that rubbed me the wrong way, because I see these other sports, I see these coaches, recruiters going into these small towns, small cities, finding kids. And y'all tell me it's easier to just do it that way. That's why soccer isn't where the other sports are right now in this country. And that's what I want to do. I want to break that and make it bigger, because I know what the change need to be. But that goes back to what I said. I just want to give words of encouragement. When you have to be the one to carve the path, to create the path, to bust through the door, it's going to be hell. It's going to be hard. I can't tell y'all how many no's I heard. Even though I eventually got on the team in Jacksonville, I had got told no like 2-3 times. I was on the got told no. Then they told me they was gonna put me on the alternate. Then the girl eventually left for such and such. So it's like every time, even though it was hard, it's like every time God had a ram in the bush for me. And it's like when you going on purpose, when you're on your journey, that's how it's gonna be. That's why I always try to tell people, encourage people. It's not supposed to be easy. And religion will have you thinking, Christianity will have you thinking that everything is supposed to be easy. It's if it ain't just coming, or if it ain't such so you ain't doing it right. Well, no, that's not the case. You gonna have some trials and tribulations. Okay. Like my mama, she loved to reference Agents for Change down in Naples, Florida, Tristan Sunil. She loved to reference Hubert when he said, "This ain't for the faint of heart. Doing God purpose is not for the faint of heart. It's not." But that's okay. And then everybody don't believe in God, but even for those that don't believe in God, but tell me, when you on your journey, it's still not easy. That's why you hear, I love to, when you hear a lot of testimonies and stories from people, they talk about how they had to get it out the mud. They had to go through this, they had to go through that. They got told no here, they got told no there. And they still are where they are because they did not give up. And that's one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to give up. And when you going on your path, it's going to feel like you ain't got no support. You ain't got nobody. All I feel like I had was my parents my whole time. And like, especially like within my city, like, it's other people from my city that have went on to play sports at other schools. I see them share them. This person got shared. That person got shared. Not once has anybody shared me playing soccer. I played at Alabama State in Division I. Not once has anybody shared anything of me playing soccer in my city. So when you going through and when you the only one trying to carve something when your story ain't written how everybody else is written, you not gonna have the support. You gonna hear this and that from family members as well. When you doing something, and here go family. Oh, why you did that? That cost too much. Why you doing that? Why you doing all that? Cause I just had this talk with my mama, and it's on my Instagram. They not thinking outside the box. And when you on this journey, you got to think outside the box. And don't put God in no box. Cause when I tell you, there's still, and I'm working on it, there's still parts of me like, well, dang, how I'm gonna do this? How I'm gonna do that? When I didn't have this or I didn't have that. And God said, you must not know who I am. You made it this far, right? Because back when I was in high school and stuff, I was saying the same thing. How I'm gonna do this? How I'm gonna play Division I? How I'm gonna do this? How I'm gonna do that? And what I ended up doing, playing Division I. Okay, so it seemed like throughout my journey, anything I needed, God checked it off, and I wasn't that long. He said, "Oh, you need club experience? Move to Jacksonville with your daddy, get that little bit of club check." Oh, Division I experience, even though I was only for a year in training, but get what? You got that check. Training, I got a little bit of check. So it's like each part of my journey. That's why I said I always feel like he had a ram in the bush for me when it comes to something that I needed. And that's the word, that's the life advice. That's the word of encouragement I want to give, especially to my age group when you kind of just, even those that's just getting out of high school or just graduating college, and you kind of stuck somewhere doing something you don't want to do, and it's like you know what you love to do, but you don't know how to start, or you don't know. And this is another thing. Money is the least of our worries. Stop saying, oh, I don't have the money to do it. Yes, you do. Like I just said, when you on purpose, God gonna always find a way for you to be able to do the thing that you need to do. I had to learn it too. It's not about money. It's not about the money. Just be obedient to the purpose. Be obedient to what God said, which is the purpose. If he see you trying, he see you working, he gonna give you a way he gonna provide a way for you to be able to do what you need to do. So with that being said, for those of y'all in my age group, even those ones at this never too late, find that thing that you love, your passion, your purpose. What's something that makes you angry? A problem that you want to solve and it makes you angry and you love to do it. If you didn't make money doing it, you would still do it. That thing, when you have it, get a sheet of paper or some. If you ain't got no paper or not, take out your phone, go to your notes, and write down the goal, that end, that dream. And then under that, write how am I going to get to that. Okay, how am I going to get to that? And under that, put what you need for that. That's a vision plan. So it's basically you writing, between you and God writing, okay, I got my purpose, I got my vision, I'm writing it out, and then Lord, this is what I need. This is the help I need. Cause for me, I needed trainings, I needed practice, I needed to be able to get to and fro. So for example, I would put, like for me in soccer, I wanted to be All-American. I wanted to be, it was certain goals I had. I want to have this same percentage, that. And a lot of times, the stuff you put on your vision might not happen because it's not ready for you at that time. So that's another thing to remember. Your vision plan, it need to be flexible. It's always going to change. Don't think everything on that paper got to happen, because it might not be ready for you in that time. But it's supposed to, your vision plan going to change. You'll see what I'm saying as you go along. But, so for example, I will put, want to have this 8% and want to do this, want to do that. But in order to get those things, I put, I need a car, I need money for a gym membership to be able to work out, keep my body, right. I even had become a Division I player. I had that coming out of high school. That happened. So so that's what I would say. Like, so for those of y'all, not just my age, but for those of y'all that's either, if you don't have your purpose, or if you know what it is that you love and you don't know where to start, get a vision, get it in there, write it out on a sheet of paper. Just write it out. Write what you need to accomplish it. Put all that on a sheet of paper. Put it on your notes in your phone, but it need to be on a piece of paper. But just have it rolled out somewhere, and then start doing the work. Don't worry about, I don't have the money to do this, I don't have the money to do that. Don't worry about that. Just grind and work on what you need to work on. I guarantee God will provide a way for you to get what you need on your journey. And just know, when you on your journey, especially if you got to be the one to carve the path, if you got to be the one to bust that door open, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hell. Family ain't gonna like you. Friends ain't gonna like you no more. Folk got to get cut off, because everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. Who my mom told me, like Steve Harvey, I think she said, if God wanted them to go, he would have gave them a vision as well on how they could go there with you. So just remember that everybody can't go. And 2023, I'm going to challenge everybody, including my sister, just get in a headspace. I'm just going to grind on my purpose, my vision, this thing that I love. I'm just going to devote time into that. If you got to work a job, work the job. And when you get home, put time into that. Because I feel like that's like society has programmed us in a way. Put time into that. Just do the job to pay what you need to pay. But I guarantee, if you continuously keep putting time in, it's going to pay y'all, because it ain't got no choice to pay y'all. Because that's the principle. God put us in for a purpose. If you working on that purpose, you honing your craft, it ain't got no choice but to do what it's supposed to do. Because that's the principle God laid out. But see, religion ain't going to tell you that. Christianity ain't going to tell you that. But that's another conversation for a different day. This was the first episode of All Things Life in Sports with Kyilan Thomas. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. There's so much left on the way. Stay tuned for all the things that I have in store. And like I say, everything need to be done before you try to have fun.